Hello everybody. Today we have to discuss another interesting topic under Unit 4. Unit 4.1.4 Factors contributing to increased globalization. This is the content. We have to discuss what is globalization and the trade liberalization, as well as what are the activities that the WTO is played in this international trade. Then political changes, reduced cost of transport and communication, increased significance of global corporations, that means multinational corporations activities, then foreign direct investments, migration within and between economies, then growth of the global labor force, structural changes, impact on businesses of increased globalization. So there are nearly 10 topics we have to discuss in this category. These are the learning objectives of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand what is meant by liberalization and what are the activities the countries and the world giants are taking place to liberalize the international trade, and the factors affect for the expansion of globalization, as well as what is the World Trade Organization's role in international trade development. At last, the impact of globalization towards businesses, that means the positive impacts and the negative impacts you may able to understand. Introduction to globalization. Many markets today are global. This means that some firms expect to sell their products anywhere in the world. If I take an example, if a firm have a head office in London and they borrow money from a bank in Japan and manufacture products in China and deal with customers from a call center in India and sell goods to countries all over the world, that means joining with many countries, joining with many nations, they are conducting their business activities. So simply this globalization means, as I have given here, that is the growing integration among the nations. So people all over the world, they can purchase, they can consume, they can enjoy any product or the service they are in the entire international market. So most of the manufacturers, rather than just stagnated into their domestic market and the domestic customer base, all the time they are trying to find another market, another international trade to expand their business activities. So this globalization also a kind of a extension strategy for the businesses to follow. Now we will look towards what are the key features of this globalization. First one is goods and services traded throughout the world. This means rather than just stagnated to the domestic market, manufacturers have a good opportunity to expand their businesses to the international market, as well as able to sell these goods and services to each and every nation they are in the world. So the income level, profitability, the establishment of the business is increasing because of this. Next one is many people are able to live and work in a country of their choice. So now most of the countries, their rules and regulations have been decreased. Those have been released. So people can move to any country, they can find any country or any place they are in the world for them to live, for them to do a job, other than staying in their born country. Next one is there is a high interdependence between countries. This globalization is giving another interdependence policy to the countries. That means if a main country or the major country faced with some economic crisis or else some war problems, other countries also equally getting the problem of these crises. So highly interdependence is there between the countries. Next one is capital flows freely between different countries. That means people can sometimes, Sri Lankan people, they save their money in Swiss banks, and then another country they save their money in another country bank. So capital money is flowing between the countries freely. Then last point is the sharing technology and intellectual property. So most of the countries now developed, as well as some others are still developing. So the countries, those who have the developed technology, standard technology, they are ready to share those technology among the other countries too. So these are the features that we can highlight under this globalization. Trade liberalization, a new word for you all. So what is this liberalization? That means releasing or reducing the barriers on the free trade. So most of the countries, we know, they are imposing some of the rules and restrictions on this free trade to protect their domestic market, to protect their domestic manufacturers. But most of the countries now, they are being open their economies to the international trade. So they are trying to release most of the barriers, tax barriers and other administration barriers on this international trade. So when the markets are fully open without restrictions is called as trade liberalization. So this free trade agreements very much help to encourage trade between nations. So especially with these free trade agreements, countries are being more liberalized to the international trade. And then there's another special organization you all know, WTO, or the World Trade Organization. So main reason for the growing level of trade liberalization is the influence of this World Trade Organization. So because of this trade liberalization, what these organizations are expecting is to increase the volume of international trade, as well as to connect the nations in a very strong manner, and then developing the international market. So if you go through page number 196, you can see some examples for this trade liberalization. When we are talking about the international trade, another most important organization that we have to discuss, that is World Trade Organization. So WTO was established in 1995 by replacing a similar body called General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. So for the moment, WTO has 164 member countries, as well as more than 600 people are the employees of this WTO, including lawyers, economists, statisticians, communication experts, like that, because World Trade Organization is the one which is giving the guidance, support, as well as they are the ones who are promoting this international trade. So this World Trade Organization's main objective is promoting the free trade, as well as reduce the problems or the crises among the countries. So this WTO is playing a main role there in the international trade. So we can discuss what are the activities played by this WTO in the next slides. In this slide, as a brief, I have given you what are the activities of this global trade. One is this WTO is the only international agency overseeing the rules of international trade, and this is make sure people follow these rules of free trade agreements and settle disputes or settle crises between the governments and the nations, as well as this organization is getting the priority to give the solutions and then pass the justice for these nations. in this slide I have put you some pictures about this WTO, the WTO logo, and then WTO flag, as well as WTO headquarters center. And then there's a map also. So in that map there are 4 colors: green color, blue color, yellow and red. So this green color indicates the member countries. So all over the world, majority of the countries are now being members with the World Trade Organization. Then blue color. Blue color means members duly represented by the European Union. That means some countries are there, they are representing the European Union also. European Union also another free trade bloc. So the countries, these blue color countries are the members of the World Trade Organization, as well as they are having the membership of the European Union also. Then yellow color means observers. That means they are not yet got the membership of this WTO. They are observing about this World Trade Organization, as well as maybe they have applied to being the members of the WTO. Then red color, very few countries. Those are the non-members. So what WTO's main intention is get the majority or get involved each and every country for the World Trade Organization and continue the free trade across the world. Main activities of WTO. Main activity of WTO is trade negotiations. That means reducing or eliminating the trade barriers through the negotiations. That means by discussing with the countries, whatever the barriers that they have put on this international trade, they are trying to minimize and trying to promote the international trade without barriers. Next one is implementation and monitoring. The WTO employs various councils and committees. They manage and monitor the applications of WTO's rules for trade. So whatever the rules passed by the WTO to the member countries, they have to implement those new rules and regulations on these member countries, as well as have to have a good monitoring system to maintain such rules and the applications on free trade. Next one is settling trade disputes. Some countries, they may have some problems. So even they are the members of the WTO, they have such problems and the disputes. So WTO's another main aim is reducing those criticisms or reducing those disputes among the countries and maintain the friendliness among the nations. Political changes is another factor which is highly giving the impact to the development of this international trade. That means earlier, before 1990s, like there were radical changes in the political regimes of certain nations. So that has been helped to increase this globalization. So here I have given you one example. In 1991, communist rule ended in the Soviet Union and the old Soviet Union bloc no longer exists. Therefore, Latvia, Georgia, Lithuania, Belarus, right, those countries were being independent. So as a result, these communities or these countries began to open their economies. So when a country is becoming or when they are getting the independence, then they are trying to release some barriers there in the country and then changing the political situation in their countries, and then that is the first step to coming to the international trade. So because of that, the international trade is being developed day by day. Other than political changes, there were another two factors highly impact on this international trade. That is the reduce of transportation cost, and the other one is development of the communication. Now in this slide we will look at how this transport cost may affect for this international trade. So, international transport network has been improved in recent years, as well as there was a fall in cost of flying and the number of flights and destinations has been increased. So, because of that, people can travel to business meetings more easily and goods can be transported more cheaply. So, this is a kind. Other point is containerization also has made a significant contribution to the globalization. So these containers means identically metal boxes that can be loaded and unloaded easily from the ships and lorries as well as from the trains. So they provide a flexible means of transporting goods, but most importantly their use has reduced the cost of transportation significantly. So this containerization actually giving the protection to the goods as well as it's giving the easiness to load and unload the goods. So this is also another indicator of reducing the transportation cost. How the developed communication is helping to this globalization. So modern technology allows firms to transfer complex data instantly to any part of the world. So with the development of the computerization era as well as the internet and some other social medias, these businesses are highly used to do their tradings as well as the researchers to gather the informations, to analyze these informations as well as sort out these informations. They highly use this communication. So the development of this communication is day by day giving a significant impact, significant support to the development of this globalization. So almost all the operations of the businesses now happening across this communication, happening across the computerized system. So interconnected networks are there. So with that, people can join to the any part of the world. Sometimes one businesses headquarters in one country as well as their operations are there, or the business manufacturing process is there in one country as well as their market may be in another area. So how these three areas can be connected? Definitely with this communication. So the communication is giving a main help to the international trade as well as it is smoothen and the operations are becoming very efficient and the productive with the modern technology. So I have discussed these 2 points also there with the previous slide. This communication allow businesses to gather information about the market, how the customers are behaving, as well as how other competitors are behaving, and what are the rules imposed by the governments in different countries. So such things they can easily obtain through this communication process. So for the research purpose also, this communication is giving a considerable help as well as the presenting data, analyzing data, gathering data. Each and everything can be done with the support of this communication. So this communication has given a very big support for the development of this international trade. Another big topic we have to discuss in this unit is increased significance of global corporations. What are these global corporations? These are just named as multinational corporations. That means these are the largest businesses in the world. So their headquarters in one country and their operations are there spread across the world. So with the development of these businesses around the world, globalization has been increased and they are having big production capacity as well as a very big financial power. So obviously they can achieve a significant proportion in the market. So these operations or these activities of these multinationals are giving lots of benefits to the mother country as well as to the host country. So host countries means the countries that they have chose to do the business operations. These multinational corporations now for the moment have captured high market share all over the world, as well as they are the ones who are giving a significant contribution to the world's gross domestic production. Then these corporations are giving lots of opportunities to the people. That means job opportunities are there, training opportunities are there, they are sharing their technology with the other nations. So such benefits can be obtained by the host countries through these multinationals operations. So all the time, as these multinationals are very much big and as well as they are doing the operations in a very vast manner, they can obviously obtain the cost effective operations, as well as their production cost will be low and they will be generating more profit to the business as well as to the entire world. In this slide, I have given you some examples for the top multinational corporations they are in the world. So with the signs, with the logos, you can definitely identify what are these companies and what type of a role that they are playing in the market. So not they have spread all over the world. So for the moment, how much will be their market share, what is the capacity, what is the production level, as well as how many employees are there, what is their total income per year. You can find out these things by looking at these logos, as well as you can browse the internet and find out those data and see the capacity, see the volume of these businesses and how they are giving the impact to the international trade. Increased investment flow. So this is also another factor which is giving the support for the development of the international trade. So we have discussed this FDIs in the previous presentation too. So FDI occurs when a company or a country makes an investment in a foreign country. So obviously most of the multinational corporations or the big firms, they are investing in other countries. Why they are selecting the other countries to do their operations? There are some reasons. So here I have given you one example for this investment flow or the FDI. So likewise there are thousands of foreign direct investment flows are there across the countries. That is another reason for the development of this international trade. So these foreign direct investments are giving new job opportunities and wealth to the countries, because when a company or when a country is investing money and starting a new business in a host country, definitely they are giving the job opportunities to the local communities. So the local communities job opportunities are increasing, their income level is increasing, as well as the entire country wealth is getting increased. Another thing is FDI allows businesses to enter to the markets where trade barriers exist. Most of the countries, even for the moment, they are maintaining trade barriers to protect their local or the domestic manufacturers. So if a company is going with investments, they are allowed to enter to those countries to do those business operations. So that is a kind of opportunity for the large businesses to spread all over the world, as well as that is another indicator of the globalization. Migration. So migration means the movement of people who aim to live in another location. So other than the place where they birth, they are finding new locations, new countries to do their jobs as well as to settle. Then according to the global statistics, between year 2018 to 2021, Canada is predicting and they are planning to welcome 980,000 new residents to their country, as well as 3% of the world's population live outside their country of the birth. So why people are very much look towards this migration? Sometimes some people may not willing to live in their country, as well as they are like finding good opportunities, finding good jobs in other countries, and then when they earn high income in those countries, they are sending those money to their mother country. As well as some people with their talent, with their skills and the knowledge, the mother country is not offering such benefits for them. So especially they are targeting the other countries to live and do the jobs. So migration is bringing lots of contribution to the globalization. So globalization is not just the world trade. So globalization means integration of the countries economically, culturally, as well as socially, like that. So when these migrants are coming from one country to another country, definitely they are bringing their culture to the new environment. So that country also developing sometimes with those new culture patterns. As well as migrants often provide a supply of low cost labor to the nations. Sometimes these countries are highly appreciating the migrants because can get their service at somewhat lower cost. Another significant impact of this migration is these migrant people. They are sending the money that they earn at that country to the mother country or to their birthplace. So especially if we talk about the people, those who are working in Middle East countries, those who have gone from Sri Lanka, they are sending their earnings to the Sri Lanka back. So because of that, the country is also developing, as well as those people's families and their economy also developing. As well as this migration is filling the skill gaps, because some of the countries they may have technology, they may have lots of financial capacity, but the educated knowledge or the skillful knowledge is less. So those countries, by giving good offers to them, they are inviting such migrants to come and locate there and do the jobs in a migrant country. Another factor have to discuss under this globalization is global labor force. So the number of workers who are working in the world is called as the labor force. When there's a employee rate is high, definitely that is giving a very good impact to the globalization. So you can see in year 1980s, 1.7 billion were only considered as the labor force. They are in the world. But when it comes to year 2017, 3.45 billion were employed. So because of that, we can see the population's contribution to the economy is very high, as well as that is a kind of a leading impact to the globalization. This This growth of labor market is giving a significant contribution to the globalization, because when the employees or when the people they are engaging with the activities or with the jobs, their income level is increasing, therefore their disposable income also increasing, so they'll demand more goods and services, so that is good for the businesses. So the market is expanding, then more choices are there, more wealthy people are there, therefore definitely not only the domestic productions as well as the imported items also may get a very good opportunity to sell in domestic markets. Next topic is structural changes. So structure of the economy means the way the economy has arranged. That means from which areas the economy is gaining income. So mostly you all know there are main three sectors in the economy: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So during past 2 decades, most of the countries, their contribution from primary sector and secondary sector was little bit low, so it has been fallen, so due to different reasons. And then they are very much concerned to give the priority for the tertiary sector, especially the western countries as well as Europe countries. Those are very much considering about giving the top priority to the service sector or the service industry, and then get the maximum income from that. And still for the moment, developing countries, third world countries, those countries are depending on the primary sector and the secondary sector. But in order to develop in secondary sector, those countries must have proper standard of technology. But sometimes some of the countries are lack of technology and their secondary sector also not that much up to the standard. Therefore, most of the countries are very much gaining their income from the primary sector. So during past 2 decades, this has been decreased. Even the developing countries also, sometimes they are not identifying what is the sector that they should give priority, and according to their natural resources, according to their capacity, they are not going to identify what is the sector they should give the priority. But other than that, they are moving very much for the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. Again, when there are changes in these sectors or the structures, we can see some significant other changes also there in the economy. That means when the structure is changing, the people, those who are employing, that is also changing. Before 2 decades ago, mostly people, they were engaged with the primary sector, that means in agricultural sector. So most of them were employed in the agricultural sector. But now with the time being, with these changes, we can see large number of employment is there in secondary sector and the tertiary sector, as well as this structural change is giving a kind of a priority for the exports. That means these secondary sector and the tertiary sector is very much export oriented. Therefore, it is giving a significant impact to the development of the globalization. And other thing is, with the intention of the tertiary sector, most of the businesses, they are developing with communication, social media, as well as information technology, like that. Therefore, they are spreading their businesses all over the world through these technologies and the services. So we can see, before 2 decades ago, what was the economy, and present, what type of jobs that the people are doing, what type of economic changes are there, what type of facilities that they are using to develop their businesses. So all these things have been happened due to the structural changes there in the economy. Now we have come to the last topic in this unit. So the topic is the impact on businesses of increased globalization. So one by one I am going to explain what type of impacts there are for the businesses with this globalization. First one is access to huge market. So now for the moment we have discussed there's a high liberalization, that means very less rules and regulations are there. Therefore anyone, any marketer or any business, they can send their items or the products to the global market other than the domestic market. So if they are just selling their products in the domestic market, means their market share is very low. But when they target the international market, there's a wide audience, there's a wide number of customers, and the market share also can be increased. Second one is lower cost. When the businesses are purchasing goods and services with the export intention, definitely they are producing with the surplus. That means large number of quantity they are producing. So when they are going to produce large quantities, definitely there will be economies of scale. Purchasing economies of scale, technological economies of scale. So likewise, almost all the economies of scale can be obtained. Because of that, the cost of production will be low. So these businesses can enjoy lower cost of production. Next one is access to labor. So when doing the businesses all over the world can find out cheap labor, can find out skillful labor. So likewise, very much easy to attract the number of employees, that means skillful employees as well as the knowledgeable employees, to their businesses with this globalization. So in this slide there's another impact. So whatever the impacts we are discussing with the previous slide and this slide, those are positive impacts on businesses with this increased globalization. Now we'll look at the point. Reduce taxation. That means businesses, when doing businesses in all over the world, they can find out the locations or the countries which are charging low tax rates. So they can get that advantage. How can? That means they can set up their headquarters in that low tax locations and then do the businesses in whatever the places where they want. So they have to pay taxes based on that headquarters. So they can minimize their tax amounts should pay to the government. So other than doing the businesses, so other than setting up their headquarters in their domestic country or any other country, they can look at where the countries or what are the countries which are having low tax rates, and then with that they can set up and register their headquarters. So with that intention they can reduce their taxation to the governments. In this slide we are going to discuss the negative impacts on businesses of increased globalization. That means what are the threats for the businesses. First one is competition. In the globalization or with the global market, there are so many businesses, most powerful ones are there. Therefore businesses may have to face so many difficulties, so many challenges to set up their businesses in the world trade. Other one is power of MNCs. So MNCs are becoming more powerful with the globalization support. So the domestic manufacturers or any other small manufacturers, when they are trying to move to the international market, definitely they have to face for the challenges imposed by the MNCs, because MNCs definitely, as they are producing large quantities, they are producing them at lower rates, and they are they are setting up somewhat lower prices also to the products as the selling price. But some medium scale businesses as well as small scale businesses or some domestically powerful businesses sometimes unable to face these challenges. So this power of MNC is another threat for the businesses. Next one is interdependence. With this globalization, with the meaning you all know, that is the interconnection of the nations. So with this interconnection, definitely if there's a one problem, if there's an issue there in a country, definitely the negative impacts may goes to the other countries too. Therefore none of the countries are now not independent, almost all the countries are interdependent with the trade. Therefore so many problems are there connected with each and every country. Another negative impact is exploitation. With the growing globalization, businesses are moving to the countries which are having less restrictions. Actually, as I explained you with the previous point, reduced tax rates. They are finding some areas, some locations to set up their businesses where they are having low tax rates. So likewise, they are all the time, these businesses all the time look at the places or the countries which are having less restrictions, less rules and regulations. So in some of the countries there are no strict rules to protect the labors. There are no strict rules to stop the child labor. So when the businesses use this low labor or as low wage labor and the child labor, definitely they can reduce the cost of labor. Therefore they are trying to maximize their profit with that point. So using child labor as well as paying low wages to the laborers is not that much ethical. So those problems are there, or those negative impacts are coming to the businesses with this globalization. Other thing is profit repatriation. These businesses, when they are doing businesses in the host countries, they are not giving a single pound to the host country. They are taking all the profits to their home countries. So the profit repatriation is there. They are using maximum resources in the host country, using the labor and then using the land and all the resources, but profit is sending back to the home country. That is another drawback with this globalization. So in this slide I have put one question which has taken from 2018 June Unit 4 paper. Explain two factors that have contributed to increased globalization. First factor is improvements in transport and communication. So with that, the cost of air travel, satellite communication and all, the cost has been decreased and those facilities are mostly available. The analysis part is when it becomes both easier and cheaper to reach and communicate with previously isolated areas, interaction and trade becomes not only possible but more worthwhile, and so globalization increase. So with these facilities, definitely whatever the countries, whatever the areas earlier have not been connected, now can connect easily, can do the tradings easily, transactions, communication are very much efficient and productive. This is the next reason for the improvement in globalization. That one is political changes. So old regimes such as the communist empire and Eastern Europe collapsing, countries such as China becoming more open to the trade. Earlier, China was a kind of an closed economic country. They have not opened their market to any of the imports, and they have less involved with the exports. So with these political releases, with these political changes and the economic changes, many countries, they have released their barriers, they have released their rules and regulations, and they have become more open of their economies to the international trade. So with that, the globalization has improved in a significant manner. Dear children, I have put you some questions in this slide. You can do these questions after referring this presentation, as well as you can go through your lesson in the textbook. And you are supposed to do the activities and the case studies in the textbook. Thank you and have a nice day.